Oh, hello, me hearties. Dinky-Doo just popping up again for the second time this evening. Hello, me hearties. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Dinky-Doo from me, Scottie McClue, just popping up for the second time this evening. We're in the middle of experimental broadcasting. We had a challenge with the audio. So if any of you are out there, if you can let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me. That would be just fantastic. So there we are. I don't, for the life of me, know what I actually touched, but it doesn't matter. As I say, new system, new broom sweeps clean. I'll already, I'll obviously have to get the audio sorted out. But do let me know if you can hear this. That would be tremendous. Very, very important. Hello and Dinky-Doo. Mike Oxlong says you're back. Mike, can you hear me again this time? Do tell. Spill the beans, I say, and we'll chase the gremlin out the system. Yes, I can hear you again. Is it nice and clear, Frank? So there we go. And is the video all right? Video and audio. Are we getting that sorted out? I think probably what I did was I disconnected the microphone to try something. That was very silly of me. That was I made a foolishness of myself doing it because I must have broken the circuit then and it wouldn't pick it up back again. So there we are. Mic quality is back up to great. This is wonderful stuff. We do like this. I'm very, very pleased that it is actually working. The last broadcast, of course, will be no end of amusement to people, particularly McClue's critics, of which there are at least 5 in the world out of 7.5 billion. And, they'll be having a lot of, oh, gotta hear him, all that sort of idea. And a huge argy-bargy with a lot of people about Her Majesty the Queen and the continuation of the monarchy. And I was explaining to them that, without the support of Her Majesty the Queen, they can forget Scottish independence, I mean, the two are not linked. One's political, the other's apolitical. And of course, you get all these mad people going, oh, but she's so rich and she can afford it. Just a lot of nonsense, a total misunderstanding of how the state actually operates. What people don't realize that at one point, the monarchy was almost bankrupt. So there you are, very, very tight, but not in great Queen Elizabeth's time. I hasten to it. A lot of things were sorted out since then, and I even pointed out how often the monarchy has bailed us out. There we are. Anyway, that's by the by. But what I'll do, I'll not do anything too dramatic or too silly here tonight, but I'm just glad that we're back and can be heard. That's fantastic. Great sound, says the wonderful Susan Forrest down in Lancashire there. She's a lassie from Lancashire. And what about the picture, Susan? Is the picture all right? Are you getting it fairly clear from that point of view? I notice the picture behind is a little bit out of focus, but we are experimenting, of course. And I think when you're doing that, you have to say, whoa, 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 let's just see what is what, Very important. Tres important. There's McClue there. That's fantastic. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just learning. See, I'm learning all the time here. This is a huge learning curve for old McClue. Every day is a school day, I say. And when you change equipment, I mean, I'm used to working with the same equipment. So I would like you to think perhaps it's brave. It's brave of the old guy to change horses at this stage in the game. That kind of idea. So there we are. And I'll put that number 2. So we're sharing now. There we are. Excellent. And we'll just put back in business. Back in business. And we're at Scottie McClue. Guys, if you've just joined us, do please subscribe if you haven't subscribed before, because it makes a massive, massive difference. And, there is an absolute tsunami of joy coming because we're going to try and get the phone in back. So that should be quite funny. Back in business. And I'll just put round 2. Yes, wonderful. And Saturday night, nothing gets past me. There we are. Look at that. There we are, Saturday. So I'm just sharing, guys, very important. And I put new. Yeah, that's wonderful. They are back in business Saturday, round 2, new, back in business. That's Scottie McClue. This is fantastic. Right, there we go. Wonderful, wonderful. Right, now that's gone out there. I've just shared that, so we will see what is what. Let that get out there. Live now, new system. Feedback, please, on the chat. Wonderful, and that's up there. Good. Now, this is work in progress, of course, so don't be expecting miracles. Right, Scottie, hello, says the wonderful Kareem Zachariah. Fantastic. The mic quality is back up to great, says Mike Oxlong. Very good of Mike. Picture's great too, says Susan. Scottie, you look and sound fine. Experiment away. Ah, Kareem Zachariah, bless you. You're very, very kind. You know, the thing is, Kareem, as you know, is something's working. I can remember the late, great Jimmy Shand, who's, you know, I'm a great fan of his, one of the finest exponents of the button key melodeon, the accordion, great accordionist and dance band man, Jimmy Shand. And when he was young in Fife, he was from East Weems in Fife, Jimmy, and he was a mining lad. His father was a roadman and a very nice, conscientious man, Mr. Shand. Anyway, Jimmy had saved up his pennies and bought a motorcycle. And this was, I think, in the 1920s. And he bought a motorcycle and he heard all the other lads talking about decoking their bikes at the weekend. They were going to decoke it, take the cylinder head off, and get, was it a copper scraper used because it was soft? It wouldn't score the bore, as they say. There's a great one, score the bore. And they would decoke their bikes. Anyway, Jimmy decoked his bike this Saturday to be upsized with everybody else, and then put everything back together and started it up, and it went bang and never worked again. And I think Jimmy's lesson from that was, if it's working, leave it alone, you know. And somebody once said that in a meeting at one of the big radio stations. The programmer was going through stuff, and typical music programmer, great guy, but didn't really understand talk radio and couldn't understand how Scottie was so successful on the radio station. And he was sitting there and they went through the programs, what's needing done about this program, what's needing done about that. And of course, I was on late at night, so I was the last program of the day. And they said, now, what about Scottie? What do we need to be doing there? And the chairman of one of the big television companies said, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Fantastic. Scottie, I'm in Carlisle, so it's cold here. Oh, Kareem, you'll be cold, but you'll get a lovely, lovely view of the sky because the light pollution's not so bad in Cumbria with all that countryside. Good evening to everyone, says Susan Shaw. Good evening, Susan. Welcome. Lovely to have you with us. Pictures looking 4K high definition. Mike Oxlong, this is incredible. I thought this might be like a total disaster. I know we lost audio in the last one, but the interesting thing is I thought that my speeds would be too slow with the equipment I'm using. So I was wondering if I should invest in even more equipment. And then apparently this seems to be working fine. So fingers crossed, you know, that the chewing gum holds. No, we're not quite as bad as that. All fine and dandy, says the wonderful Frank McElroy. Thank you, Frank. Excellent stuff. We'll see if we might even get a Skype now from Glenn. If Glenn's back in business, we might even be able to get a Skype. That would be rather good. But we don't like to push it. I shall just say to you all, I'll do it in capitals. Thank you for your forbearance. There we are. Thank you for your forbearance. Is that right? Have I spelled that right? Thank you for your forbearance. Yes, I think that's quite a nice thing to say to the nation. Thank you for your forbearance. Wonderful. There we are. We'll just let them know what is what. Thank you for your forbearance. Marvellous, folks. Now, does it help if I sit back a bit? Does that look a little bit better picture-wise? Do tell. The only thing is I then need to see. I don't know if I have to put on the Gregory pics to see if I can see that. No, I can't actually see that. Yes. Back again then, Scottie. Yes, Glenn, of course. McClue does not give up. You should know that by now. You know, giving up's for losers. Cyber Starfish, yay, Scottie. I like the headset, my guy. Well, Dr. Teletubby, we apparently need it. So there you go. We actually need it. It's not a prop. When we started off, the audio wasn't great. So we had to actually do this and get it sorted. Dr. Teletubby, there we are. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Really? Yes, absolutely. Pat Andre Armstrong Lee says, hello, Scottie. Hello, Pat Andre Armstrong Lee. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Scottie McClue's live stream on YouTube. The big one, the one everyone's talking about, the one everyone is watching and listening to. We're talking about getting the phone in back. There's William Crosby. Good evening, Scottie. Hello, William. Stay warm, Kareem in Carlisle, says Susan Shaw. Oh, yes, it can get quite cold down the old west coast there. Now, guys, is the audio and video better than our normal streams? Please do feedback. Do let me know. Very much appreciated. Remember, you're witnessing something like the first experiments in radio with Marconi here. Fantastic. Bit of a technical issue, Scottie. J-Dog Gaming, do you mean now? Dinky-Doo, we can finally hear you, says Shane. Thank you, Shane Lawler. Dr. Teletubby, the video quality is a bit weird. It's clear, says Jean. So when we say weird, now I don't really want to touch anything here, but I wonder if we could improve on the video. What about McClue himself? The background looks a bit hazy. So we might have a focus bit. No, before. Oh, yes, J-Dog, of course. J-Dog, remember, nobody achieves greatness without having to, deal with all the hazards along the path of life. And nobody knows that better than your good self. You've been through that big operation. We need you strong and well. Strong and well. Are you using a proper camera or your phone still? No, I'm not using my phone. That's why I wanted to know, how is this looking? Does the phone look better or is this better? You're glowing tonight, sir, says William. William, I thank you very much. Thank you, William Cosby. Very much appreciated. And Dinky-Doo, can we all have a massive share? I'm very wary about touching anything here in case I get it wrong. But if we could have a massive share, that would just be superb. So there we go. I've got the phone here, J-Dog, so that's what's going on there. Just to let you know, not that you would ever doubt McClue. You know, when I'm talking, I'm talking. The whole world's rocking when McClue is talking. There we are. Right, we'll share this one to Facebook. And there we are. Back again for round two. Back again, round two. Seconds out, round two. Fantastic. Right, back again, round two. And I'll just put new here. New. Yes. There we are. And I'll put never give up. Never give up. There we go. And subscribe. If everybody can subscribe, that would be just absolutely fabulous. So there we go. And I'll just put in never give up because I like that. Never give up. And then we'll put share down for everybody. If you wouldn't mind sharing, that would just be tremendous. That would be the icing on the cake, I say. Kareem says, Scottie, your throat's sounding better. What's your secret, please? I think, Kareem, I've gone a wee bit quieter with the voice. That's helping. All right, Scottie, says Peter Windy. Yes, Pete Windy, Dinky-Doo, Jerry Nickel. You mentioned telephone was the old phones made of coal or plastic 1920. Was it not Bakelite? Ah, I'm wondering if Bakelite was the later ones, the plastic ones, and if Vulcanite was the earlier ones. Because I remember a friend had a puncture on his motorcycle, and he said that he wanted to take the tire to get it vulcanized. Now, I don't know what that means. I would imagine Vulcanite was some sort of coal byproduct. So there we are. Scottie, I love that TV appearance you made in the show. It looked like a pub where you're talking to a woman about women drivers. Wendy Doyle, did you see that one? She was great fun. Scottie, I'm thinking of buying a second property. Your thoughts, please. Kareem Zakaria, I spent many happy years in Carlisle working for the local ITV station. And it, of course, owned the radio companies as well. And I know Carlisle extremely well. And there's a lot of lovely, lovely parts of Carlisle. Like all places, I mean, a lot of the people are challenged because a lot of the businesses, the big businesses, aren't there anymore. Carlisle was great for engineering, for metal boxes, for biscuits, for tires, for motor cars, for the Lake District. It serves the Lake District. You can be down to the lakes in about half an hour. And it is a beautiful part of the world full of lovely, lovely people. So we are Carlisle. That's it. It's not Carlisle. It's Carlisle. So that's what I'm telling you. They are beautiful, beautiful people. It's a lovely part of the world. So you should certainly have a look round because there's some gorgeous property in Carlisle. And as I say, a lot of lovely people. The social life is very nice. The people have got no side to them. The city centre's beautiful. It's all pedestrianised. I can remember parking the city centre. Used to get chased by the wardens. It's got a lovely, lovely cathedral, Carlisle Cathedral. And then, of course, you're down to West Cumbria. You're over to the lakes. You can get over to Newcastle and Durham. So, no, I don't. You can see Scotland. You can see the fells. You can get up into the fells, up into Talking Tarn, Castle Carrick. Beautiful little villages there. So I would have a look round, Kareem, and if you're thinking about getting yourself a holiday home, you're not very far from Wigton, which is a lovely old Georgian town by the sea. You've got Maryport, Workington, Whitehaven. Huge mining in the area, engineering, all that sort of thing, as I say. So there we are. I see McVitie's have a massive factory here. Yes, the biscuits. Scottie, I returned. Car Donnelly, thank you for that. Charles McLaughlin, Scottie, have you sold your good camera? Is this not working, Charles? This is an experiment tonight. And we're just trying this out. Let me try some adjustment. I know I shouldn't touch it, but I'm going to try a little bit of adjustment, and we'll see what is what. But I shouldn't really touch this. If it goes bananas, then we'll try and put it back. Okay. Is that any better, or is that worse? Do tell. Fess up, I say. Wonderful stuff. I love your headphones, Scottie. Carl Donnelly, Dinky-Doo. Magnus has joined us. Hi, Scottie. Hi, Magnus. Magnus, you've missed some great shenanigans tonight. This is the second of our broadcasts. The first one, always going very well until we lost audio. My fault, I think. I remember my father telling me a wonderful story when he was dropped into Holland as a paratrooper, and he was driving the Major in a Willys Jeep. My father would be about 18 at the time, and he was driving the Major in a Willys Jeep. And my father was a great big man, big, handsome paratrooper, lovely guy, and a very, very nice person, very nice man. And he's driving this Willys Jeep, and this Major's standing up, holding on to the seat in front. and shouting, barking orders to everybody. And then he said, convoy speed to everybody do 37.5. And he took his pacing stick and he poked my father in the back, and he said, 37.5. And my father slammed on the brakes. And the major went A over T upside down in the footwell of the Willys Jeep. Anyway, give the major his due. He realised he shouldn't have poked my father with his stick. Tapped him in the shoulder or something. My father didn't like that kind of physical nonsense, people pushing him and prodding him like that. So he wouldn't have put up with any of that. Anyway, the major sort of managed to roll himself back up, and he put on his service cap, squared it off, and then he said to my father, my fault, I think. I do love it. And there was another lovely story just like that. I don't know if you remember Group Captain Peter Townsend, that, there was a lot of speculation about him marrying Princess Margaret, the Queen's sister, Margaret Rose. And he was a big, handsome chap as well. And the King loved him. The Queen's father loved him because the Queen's father was a wonderful man, but he got a little bit anxious with some of the big public engagements, that everything would go off properly and what have you. And Peter was very good at putting him at his ease. They used to tell each other funny stories and little jokes and limericks and things like that, just to put the king at his ease. And that was the carry on. And the king and the Queen Mother, King and Queen, were in the back of this huge big open car in South Africa, and they were very nervous about security. Somebody had run out from the crowd towards the car, and the Queen Mother had given him a bang in the head with her brolly, I think. And the poor soul just wanted to give Princess Elizabeth, as the Queen was at the time, a 10-shilling note. That sort of idea. Anyway, that was going on. So the big open car, crowds and crowds and crowds of people in South Africa, and the king kept nipping at the chauffeur, going, do be careful, do watch out. And Peter turned round and he said to the king, which you would never, ever, ever do, but it was a very tense moment. And he said to the king, for heaven's sake, shut up or you'll cause an accident. And the king went quiet and calmed down. And Peter sat back in his seat in the front of the big car, and he thought, I've just kissed my career goodbye. Right? This was before he was having an affair with Princess Margaret, or Princess Margaret and him were having an affair. And he thought, I've just kissed my career goodbye. Anyway, all day after that, nobody said anything. And he waited till around midnight, and there was still a little light on in the king's study. And then down came one of the staff and said, Group Captain Townsend, the king would like to see you. And he thought, here it calls, sacking time. And he went up and knocked the door, and the king said, Peter, do come in. And he's standing there, and he said, Peter, I think I went a little bit too far today. And he went, good night, Peter, he said. Good night, sir. And that was it. Finished. Now, that's a real top man. Two top men together. Fantastic. So there you go. There's a little story for you now. What have we got here? Hi, Scottie, says Magnus. J-Dog, the phone had a wide camera angle compared to the one now. What do you think, J-Dog? Do tell. People say I've no willpower, but I've quit drinking loads of times. Absolutely. You're quite right. So there we go. Somebody said to me, when I'd bought a bottle of whiskey, they said, do be careful with that you don't drop it, or you could fall over and break it. Anyway, I drank the whiskey, which was just as well because I fell over 4 times on the way back. Wider. So there we are. Wider camera, right? I'll have a look because I've got 1 or 2 wee cameras. Cameras are like gold dust at the moment, J-Dog, because everybody's having to stream. So there we are. Mike says, if you're bored, Aaron Shabir says to Mike Oxlong, just a minute, how did I get this back? I'm so used to working the other equipment, guys. That's fine. Oh, Scottie, I returned. The phone had a wider camera angle. Yes, liked and shared, says the wonderful Susan Shaw. Thanks, Susan. Appreciate it. Scottie, yes, where did we get to? Wait till we see now. Yes, the phone had a wide camera angle compared to the one now. People say I've no willpower, but I've quit drinking loads of times. J-Dog says wider is better. Mike says if you're bored, have nothing. Oh, sorry. Aaron Shabir says to Mike Oxong, if you're bored and have nothing productive to say, leave the conversation. Quite right. I don't care what anyone says, but there should be a Scottie McClue show on TV, the voice of the nation. Eddie Doyle, I think the public service broadcaster should put this out once a week. And I also think that the public service broadcaster should have a national radio phone-in with Scottie McClue. You know, we don't have to be too outrageous if they've got their sensitivities. We would, of course, play to that. Scottie, I've got you on the 65-inch TV right now. Dinky-Doo. Eddie Doyle, what's it like? Everybody, can you say, Alexa, play Scottie McClue on YouTube? So there we go. Good evening, sir. Apologies for not being on for a while. James Barron, not at all. I hope you're well. Did you tell me you'd been poorly last year? But I know you've been very busy at work as well, so do not worry. I like people, says Craig Cochran. Excellent, Craig. Guys, how's the focus on that camera? Should I try and touch it again, or should I just leave it alone? 100% correct, Eddie Doyle. McClue for the telly. Not trying to patronize you, but you should have your own TV show. You're talented and you're an intelligent man. I think there would be a big audience of people viewing the TV show. Well, we had almost 250,000 per half hour on the radio station. So that's quite a lot of people. Scottie was in the shops here. Christmas decorations and trees. The lights are up. More than Halloween. Kareem Zachariah. We love Halloween because it's the one night of the year I don't have to dress up. I'll have a word for you, Scottie. Do, James, put in the word, because, James, you are an impresario. Am I not right? An impresario. I just sent this to my dad, Jake. Thank you for that. Scottie, is this going to become a regular thing now? Well, Glenn, what we'll do is we're obviously experimenting, but I'm heading towards a phone-in on YouTube, and we'll just have to go with the flow and see what happens. Evening, Scottie. Evening, says Jonas McSpurren. Jonas McSpurren. Lovely to have you with us, the McSpurrens. Got psoriasis bad in my legs. Are all getting better. The psoriasis. McClue knows all about that. There's a wee bit for you there. Can you see that? There we are. That was a present from my lovely dad. And he was such a nice man. I don't mind, really. It's genetic. Scottie, I feel like the late night talk shows on the radio are a dying breed. Would love to see you being able to do use on the airwaves. Aaron Shabir, I think they're a dying breed because there's nobody that can actually do them. I think that, it's very hard-won experience. I'm not building anything up here. I'm just telling you, it's very hard-won experience. I remember I started when there was no internet. So you couldn't find anything out. I had to know my stuff. I had to have a smattering of every subject under the sun. And I remember a guy, we used to get these jokers ringing up, and a guy phoned one night and told us he was a Spitfire pilot, because they were still around. They were in their 70s at that time. I mean, it's 30 years, 29 years since I started the radio shows. So he's still at the Spitfire. And I said to him, because I know that the takeoff procedure for the Spitfire, I've not taken off in one or anything. I just know the procedure. So I asked him to tell us. And he sort of, he kind of, never mind that just now. And he got it wrong. He crashed the Spitfire. What's the gold statue behind us, Scott Anderson? That's Pegasus. Yes, that's the paratroops. Yes, those who mount to heaven on Pegasus must ride. There we are. Let me try and adjust this, or is it okay? What do we think? Should we take a chance? That's not good. Is that better? Guys, tell me if you think that's any better. You know, I know it's a bit of a long shot, isn't it? And how's the lighting? Are we too bright? Should we have less lighting? What happens if we do that? Tell me what, we'll just experiment away and see what's what. Scottie, you're only 21, just 21, Glenn. Have you ever thought of your own internet radio station? Eddie Doyle, we did have it in the early days. You see, I was interested in the internet when it came out, and I can remember having long calls in 1998 from Manchester about starting internet radio then. Scottie, for the telly, we don't have anything here in Scotland like you, sir. A ratings winner. I can tell you this now. I'll tell you this, James. If you put Scottie McClue on for half an hour or an hour on the telly on a Friday night, it would be massive. You'd be absolutely mobbed. I can tell you that for nothing. Is that too dark? Shall we get a bit more light on the subject? How's that? Just one of these or two? Yes, it's quite difficult. What happened to your other camera, Scottie? No, we've still got everything, Aaron, but we're just saying, Eric, that makes your eyes pop. Try one light, Scottie. Agree. Can we get a close-up of the button if you haven't already? Get a close-up of the button. There we are. How very strange. There we are. Yes, is that any better? Do tell us, folks. Anything that's an improvement. I'll just say thank you for your feedback. The sound's all right, though, is it? Thank you for your feedback. Oh, that's excellent. Thank you for your feedback. That's what we'll say. Thank you for your feedback. Lovely people. Lovely people. Thank you for your feedback, lovely people. Fantastic. Right, there we are. Have you seen that? Looking like a million. Ah, thank you. How's the dog, Scottie? The dog's wonderful. He's going to be 14 in a couple of weeks. His leg's getting quite weak because he had a stroke 12 years ago and fought his way back. A fibrocartilaginous embolism, an FCE. But what a wee brave guy he is, a real wee tripper. What's your favourite drama television show, Scottie? Oh, my goodness. I love Taggart. And I'll tell you another one. I love Rebus as well. Ken Stott as Rebus that's a fabulous setup. I watched it again last week, but I like Taggart. Sounds good, says Susan. Scottie, when you were wee, did you sit round the wireless and listen to the wireless? Eddie Doyle, I did. I used to listen to the Scottish Home Service, and I don't know if I've got some sort of object I can do it for you. Let's try this. Whoa, place is falling apart here. There we go. See if I can try this for you. Right, so it sounded like this.
This is the Scottish Home Service. The time is 8 o'clock. Time for our dance music.
Sounded a bit like that. I used to love late night talk shows and a range of subjects. Would love to see you do that, Scottie. Hearing stories from the hosts and listeners is really insightful. Well, Aaron, I've done late night radio now for probably about 20. Well, I was doing it this time last year. So there we are. So 28 years. Scottie needs a podcast. Carter, I think that there's over 1,000 videos on the YouTube channel, from that point of view. Let's do some sharing, guys. I think we haven't done enough sharing. Back again, round 2. There we are. That should let everybody know that we're there, and perhaps people will come and join us I think that's very, very important. I wonder if we could get another stream going, or if that would just be silly. Would that just lose this one if we did that? Would that be silly? J-Dog, where are you when we need you? You technical people. We could have two streams running at the one time. Or would that just be silly? Would one cancel the other one out? Yes, Scottie, can you read me a bedtime story? Of course I can. It was a cold, dark, wet night in the west of Scotland. What about this one? How's this for a wee impersonation? Nothing is stirring in the frozen landscape of the Arctic tundra. No movement that the eye can detect. Then we see a slight movement against the snow. It's the one inhabitant of this frozen wasteland, the Arctic fox. Did you like that? Do you think I could do a wee bit of commentary for the animal shows? Vulcanite's a type of rubber, says Jerry Nicol. So there we are. Excellent stuff. Do you like the Corries, Scottie? I've got many of their records, one of the best. Yes, I can't play music on my talk show because I'd get hit with a copyright. But I adore the Corries, love everything they did. And the guys themselves, you know, Ronnie Brown, wonderful guy, an art teacher, great player. And, of course, Roy Williamson, an OG, an old Gordon Stonian, lived up in forests. And a lovely, lovely guy. Brilliant. Died far too soon. Was taken far too soon from us. Roy Williamson, big guy, rugby playing guy. And when he wrote Flower of Scotland, it's actually based on the chorus of the Hebrew slaves from Nabucco. So speed your journey. So you'll know the tune that goes da-dee-da-dum, dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee. And if you listen, da-da-da-dee-dee. Yeah, did you get it? See what I've just done there. Nation Radio was silly to let you go, Scottie. Well, Susan, you know, as usual, you get people complaining and causing trouble and trying to make it difficult for old McClue. And they weren't used to dealing with that. You see, I've had some fantastic bosses down the years who, no matter how many hundreds and thousands of complaints came in, people trying to get McClue sacked, he never, ever, ever rose to it and never even mentioned it to me. You know, never mentioned it to me. And I've only had one complaint upheld in 29 years. 50,000 hours of live unscripted broadcasting. You know, so there we go. But what can you do? Scottie, when are you on to tonight? Well, Kareem, this was just a bit of an accident tonight. We didn't intend to be on for any length of time. Just took some of the oose off my jumper. We didn't intend to be on for any great length of time. It was really an experimental broadcast to try out this equipment, but it seems to have worked remarkably well, apart when I made a foolish of myself by disconnecting the sound and we couldn't get it back. Any book recommendations, says Carter Anderson? Oh, Carter, yes. Thousands and thousands of them. Have a look at Crow Planet. You know, have a look at The Village Carpenter. Have a look at, I'll tell you, if you want to hear the first chapter of McClue's thriller, then pop into YouTube, put Scottie McClue, Deliver Us from Evil, and have a listen and see what you think. Stay a while, says Giorgio Tsoukalas. Giorgio Tsoukalas. Giorgio Tsoukalas. Have I said it right, Giorgio? What a beautiful name. Is it Greek? Turkish? Do tell. Giorgio Tsoukalas. Stay a while. Hi, Scottie, just passing by. You're looking well. Jamie S., no problem at all. We'll let you get on. It's just lovely being with everybody, I say. Craig Cochran, I have your second complaint, Scottie. Big man, tell us a favourite story of yours. I love to hear you speak. Adam Gallagher, what a nice thing to say. I thank you. I've got so many stories to tell you. It's there's just no end to it. It's wonderful. I can remember a guy at work on one of the radio stations. He was involved in the sales side, and I said, "Well, let me tell you about this." And he went, "You've always a tale to tell, you haven't you?" Wonderful. The complaint is you're not on enough. Craig Cochrane. What a lovely thing to say. I'm from Crete and I like quad biking. I know Crete, so you'll know Heraklion. And I adore Crete. I was looking at something the other night. It's a magical place, lovely part of the world, beautiful people. And I can remember, what are these little sort of, is it like a three-wheeler that you see the local farmers going about full of olives and fruits, things like that. And I love the way that when the sun's very hot, the locals are all wrapped up and people are walking about in their bikinis and things. But I just adored it, and I adored the Cretan people, the music, the food, the beautiful, beautiful tavernas, the mezze, the fried, the what were they the fried? Which ones were they? The little oh, like little cucumbers. It's just slipped my head, and they were absolutely gorgeous. The olives, the honey, Cretan honey. Oh, the beaches, the people. Don't, is it the raki? Storytellers are underappreciated. They are, Adam Gallagher. You're quite right. I'm from Heraklion. Thank you for mentioning us. Giorgio, I absolutely love it. Fantastic. I'm just wondering if it was you. I couldn't believe this. I stayed in a lovely hotel out in the country, outside about 4 or 5 miles from Heraklion. And maybe a bit more. I'm just trying to think. Anyway, when I arrived there at the table, there was a guy who had a big voiceover business, and he was great fun. And I thought he was just having a laugh, you see. So at the bar, the barman says, "Now who is first?" And he said, "Oh, serve him. He's a superstar, Scottie McClue." And the barman said, "You are Scottie McClue?" And I thought, he's given him a fiver to say this, you see. How could anybody in Crete know Scottie McClue? And I said, "Yes." And he said, "One moment." And he went and he got the boss of the hotel. He went, "Scottie McClue." He said, "I'm very pleased to meet you." I thought, there's a wee setup going on here. Then he said, "I must get my son. He is a big fan." I thought, no, this is just not happening. Anyway, his son came down, this delightful guy, and he said, "Scottie McClue, this is a privilege, a pleasure." I said, "Yes, yes, and you." I said, how do you know about this? I thought, I've got to do my Sherlock Holmes. He said, "I was at Glasgow University and had a flat in Govan, and I listen every night." What about that, Giorgio? Isn't that gorgeous? Stay safe, Kareem. Kareem, Scottie, I'll say goodnight. Speak Friday. If you're on, stay safe. Yes. Sats 3 Akal, Mr. McClure. Tom Verhia. Lovely to have you with us. Yes. So, Giorgio. Yes. George. Giorgio Tsoukalis. What a fabulous name. Upgrades for McClue, celebrity benefits. Absolutely, Adam. But I thought that somebody was taking the mints, I mean, that sort of stuff. The Glaswegian appreciates your knowledge. Tom, I thank you very much. Craig Cochrane, I'm writing a script for a film about going back in time to stop Hitler. It's called Back to the Führer. Stop! Hugo Tukamas, is that a photo on your cap? I love it. Yes, that's a McClue badge. I'll try and get the camera to pick it up. Can you see it? And in case the pin comes out and there's a wee domestic accident, we have another one. Oh, I can't turn it round with my headphones, but we've got one in the back of the hat as well. I'll try and let you see it. No, I think it's going to cause a problem. There we are. Is that causing a problem with the audio if I turn it round? See, we've got an emergency one there. Can you see that one there as well? Just in case there's a wee problem, we have that. I thank you. Guys, could everybody do a bit of sharing, please? Very, very important. Très important. I think I could look Greek. Do I look Greek with my hat like that? Wonderful. No, I could live in Crete so easily. The Mediterranean diet suits me, and the people are just lovely. I'll tell you, when I said to the hotelier, because in this country, in Scotland and England, not so much in Ireland, but Northern Ireland, you need to be out of your hotel room by a certain time. And I said to the maitre d', I said, excuse me, yes. What time do we have to be out of the room? You're going to be out of your room for a bit, yes? I said, no, what time do we have to? What time? Where are you going? I said, no, I'm not going. Tomorrow we are leaving. Yes, of course. I said, what time do you want us out of the hotel room? No, not at all. You take your time. I thought, what beautiful, beautiful people. Woo! So there we are. Welcome, Kareem. You're welcome. Are the Scottish suffering from Stockholm Syndrome and can never pluck up courage to go alone from the English rule? Ian Charles Scott, I was just thinking today what the Scots are going to have to do is ensure that they embrace the monarchy 100%. And they need to stop all these wee dafties from carping, because the monarchy is apolitical, but there will be no independence without royal assent and a new Scotland bill. So we need to have the royal family on side, and we need to ensure that their future part in Scotland is sorted out and is appreciated, and that. So we need the wee dafties that know nothing about the running of the state to lay off the monarchy. Otherwise, there will be zero independence, right? Because everyone goes, oh, the Scottish people are sovereign. They are, but courtesy of Her Majesty the Queen. So, they are parliamentary sovereign. Yes? So that sort of point of view, but Her Majesty will always be the sovereign. And people need to get their act together with that. They need to realize. And then once that's sorted, we can debate in earnest about would Scotland be better away from Westminster? And the answer is probably yes, because Scotland pays about £70 billion a year to Westminster. It's the cash cow, and we've only got 10% of the population. So what we need to do is say, look, we either have independence or are less dependent. And when you get half-wits saying, oh, you'd never manage, Scotland was independent for thousands of years. And the Union was a bit of jiggery pokery. Scotland was actually sold for £1,500. So that needs to be sorted. And just before that, the Act of Secession was passed. And it was passed by one vote that no Catholic could sit on the throne from 1707 onwards. And that was Queen Anne, you see, who was a Stuart. But she shouldn't actually have been on the throne. The old pretender should have been on the throne, and then Charles Edward Stuart. And what people don't realize is Charles Edward Stuart, Bonnie Prince Charlie, was offered the throne of America. So America wasn't always going to go for total independence. They were going to break away from Britain. Yeah. I'm wondering if America should come back home to Britain and enjoy the monarchy and all that sort of stuff. But they were going to break away from Britain, but they still wanted to have their monarchy. and they offered Bonnie Prince Charlie, but he said no, he didn't think so, and they rethought it that when he died, they may have to go back to a Hanoverian succession, and they didn't want that in America. So there you are. So there's a bit of information for you. And you get idiots saying, "Ah, look at France, it brings in £50 billion in tourism, and they've now got a monarchy." So yes, but we bring in 200 billion in tourism because we have got a monarchy. So there you are. And the Queen, Her Majesty, has been an outstanding public servant. No doubt about that. This is very interesting, Scottie. I never knew about Charlie being offered the USA throne. That would have been fantastic. Absolutely. And huge as well. And Charlie is buried in the Vatican in Rome, King Carlos. And I think the Queen Mother paid for, maintaining his tomb. So there we are, the tomb of Bonnie Prince Charlie. He was a poor old soul latterly, though. I think he was taking a refreshment. But what I can tell you now, you will love this, Ian Charles Scott. I knew an old gentleman who knew an old gentleman who knew an old gentleman who knew Bonnie Prince Charlie. And the old gentleman who knew Bonnie Prince Charlie was a Scottish aristocrat, and would probably know him personally to talk to, and used to see him walking about Rome. In 1786, he died. So in the 1780s, so McClue knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew Bonnie Prince Charlie. Now that's no bad, is it? Ha! So there you are, most informative. What about the relative of Charlie that still lives in Luxembourg? Well, yes, absolutely, Ian Charles Scott. But you see, your problem is if there's any kind of threat to the throne, that's when people get themselves into problems. Yes, there is, I believe there is a relative, absolutely, living in Rome. So there we are, fantastic stuff. Charlie is my darling. That's what the song is about. Charlie is my darling. Yes, the young Chevalier, absolutely. What are your thoughts on the Chinese, Scottie? Well, I absolutely adore any of the world's peoples. But, and you cannot blame a whole people. But I have to say that wherever the coronavirus came from, it hasn't probably helped. So there you are. But, there are all these superpowers, and Britain coming out of the EU, to me, big mistake, because I'll tell you something, they won't have come out of the EU for the good of Britain. They'll have come out of the EU because people were being watched from the back by a handful of hooray Henrys. So there you are. And we've effectively surrendered our sovereignty and our freedoms. So Brexit, not a good idea. It's cost about £200 billion already, and we've got nothing to show for it. We're still effectively in the EU, although in name we're supposed to be coming out. So there we are. Now, Ian Charles Scott, I won't go into that one because obviously that's commenting out with the stuff. So I'll take that one down if that's okay. They may have done, but I'll not go into that because, again, we don't know, and there's been nothing proven there. I heard, oh, yes, there might well be Ian Charles Scott, yes. But anyway, there's certain things that we can't. It keeps you safe, and it keeps me safe. Do you have any plans for the rest of the evening? Glenn Peacock, yes. I'm going dancing with myself in the front room. Fantastic. No, I'm going to, I'm obviously going to take the dog for a walk, but I'm going to look into this. Would you say tonight has been a success? This is what I need to know. This is traffic control calling McClue Airlines. Go ahead, please, McClue Airlines. We have visual contact with you. Professor Numpty Head, if you want to taxi to runway 03 and wait, please. Further instruction. Thank you. Over. I said not to hit. Stuff, Scotty, thank you. There we are, absolutely. And up you go, not to hit in your own time. And V1. And rotates. Up we go. And gear up. Wonderful stuff. So there we are. Glenn Peacock, Dinky-Doo. Glenn, you never gave me a ring. Adam Gallagher says tonight's been a success. I thank you. I thank Another great stream, Scotty. Craig Cochran, I thank you very much. This is very, very good of you all to have put up with this, even Watts and all. Andrew Downey, this you on a Saturday night now. Well, Andrew, what do you think? What would be best? I ask you, should we have more of this? Good show tonight, Scotty. Good night and stay safe. Night night, Susan Shaw. You stay safe too. What's your opinion of the Scottish art painting scene nowadays? Well, Ian Charles, some wonderful, wonderful works. Scotland has always produced giants. If you're a Scot, you're standing on the shoulders of giants, But we need to keep up our education. Enjoyed that takeoff. Yes, we're up, gear up. There we are. We're just settling. I'm just sorting a few switches out now. Success, haste you back. Alistair Campbell, I thank you. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Scotty. Andrew Downey, you're such a top man. Please pass on my regards to the other top people in your wonderful family. Ian Charles Scott, well said, Scotty. So there you are. Absolutely, Ian Charles. I mean, there's nothing economically in the way of Scotland being independent. It would be tremendous. And, we could build up relations because remember, we've always traded with Europe. If you go to East Lothian, you'll see little red pan-tiled roofs. Now, these pan-tiles came from Holland. If you go down to East Yorkshire, to just north of Hull, Beverley, round about there, you'll see the same red pan-tiled roofs. And this country isn't really split north and south. It's split east and west. And I remember being interviewed on talk radio in Liverpool. And, there was obviously an element of fun in it all. But nobody had told one of the journalists. And the chap said, Scotty, do you think we should rebuild Hadrian's Wall? I said, yes, rebuild it just north of Watford. I said, and the rest should become Scotland. And he went, excellent. He knew me well. And then when I went off the radio, the line was still live. And I heard the journalist say, who organized that? And of course, everybody in Liverpool knows Scottie McClue well, probably except the journalist. So there we are. I think when Charles becomes king, I can accept the monarchy as part of Scotland. He has true empathy with the land. Ian Charles Scott, Prince Charles's bloodline is massive, linked to all the royal houses of Europe and very much to the Stuarts. So there we are. There's still Stuart connections. I'm sure it will. I sure will. I'll buy you a light refreshment after lockdown. Absolutely, Andrew Downey. And of course, I don't take alcohol now. So it would be a softie, as they say. I think I like him. Yes, and I mean, the Queen herself is an outstanding public servant. And I adore Prince Philip. I think he's an amazing guy. Really tough gig. Very, very tough start in life. Lots of people criticizing the man. And he is just one big, handsome guy in his 100th year. So there we are. Permission for takeoff, Andrew Downey. If you just taxi to runway 002 and go up in your own time. Fantastic. We have visual contact. Just look out for the light aircraft that's just landing there. You've got him. Lovely. Thanks very much. And off you go. Wonderful stuff. So there we are. Right. It's time I wasn't here, guys. Are we ready? We'll squeeze in the goodbye song. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. And a cheerio. God bless you, my darlings. Thanks for putting up with all McClue. We'll see you all very soon indeed. Dinky-Doo. Scottie McClue has left the building.